7.5-point favorites. Lamar making his return. And could these Ravens go on a run, launching them back into the postseason after a less than stellar start? They have to get past these Dolphins first. They're coming off their best performance all season. Jeff Darlington is down there in South Florida covering tonight's game. Jeff, so glad to have you with us here. And obviously, all eyes are going to be on Lamar Jackson, his return from injury tonight. What are his teammates saying about having him back out there?
Right, Laura. Lamar Jackson, all systems go. He is going to be out here, no limitations, according to the team. Teammates are fired up about it. Kyle Van Noy actually was asked about the impact of Jackson on this team, and he said it's almost disrespectful to Jackson to even answer that question. We all know, obviously, how much this means to the team. Now, Jackson, for his part, talked about a message that John Harbaugh had in the locker room and in team meetings this week, basically saying that we are in do or die territory. It's basically every week, win or go home, as they try to make this midseason push for the playoffs. Now, the Dolphins secondary could pose a bit of a challenge for themselves right now because they are also decimated by injuries. 3 of their starters down. Minkah Fitzpatrick, really the only experienced player. So if Jackson can come out firing, this could be a tough night for the Dolphins. Minkah Fitzpatrick, though, has said that as long as their communication is good on the back end, he feels confident. But the Ravens really trying to get back on track with Jackson back in the lineup, Laura.
Yeah, at least they have Minkah out there, to your point, Jeff, but still something to look out for, especially when it comes to Lamar's arm. All right, the Lamar Jackson effect well underway this season, even if it hasn't shown up in the win column. The Ravens offense averaging nearly 2 more yards per rush and pass attempt with Lamar. And look at their pass touchdown percentage was down to 1% with Jackson on the sidelines. You just heard Jeff's report there about maybe taking advantage of some of that. The lack of players there in that Dolphins secondaries. We welcome you in here. We've got Dan Orlovsky and Jason McCourty here. Peter Schrager is also along with us. We will have Adam Schefter throughout the show as well. Dan, what do you expect this Ravens offense to look like tonight?
Yeah, playoff environment. And this is a playoff game really for both teams. I think number one, we've talked about that. This is going to be a completely new look for this season when it comes to their offense. There is not a single snap played by this offensive unit with the names you see on the left side of your screen, all on the same team, let alone the field at one time. So this is a team that was historically good offensively last year. Most of these guys were on that team for everybody, I believe, except DeAndre Hopkins. So what do they look like? What's going to be the new wrinkle? What's going to be the new trend that they go to?
Yeah.
I would expect early on to settle Lamar in, maybe to settle some of those pieces in. Ton of play action. He's become one of the best play action passing quarterbacks in the NFL. We know the threat of Derrick Henry. Use that to shore up your protection, make sure that you can create explosive plays, get the ball to your playmakers like Zay Flowers in their hands. But I want to see what this unit looks like because as great as they were last year, we just have not seen them do it this year.
I love what you're saying, and as I look at that list of names on there, one that stuck out to me was Pat Ricard. He had his first game back just this past week against the Bears, and he is a huge impact on this offense. I want you to watch him right here. That, my friends, is football. Coming down in a hole and knocking the linebacker on his butt. And when you get that and you get that run game going, it opens up what you just said, the play action pass. Lamar Jackson averaging 15 yards a pass when he's going play action, and that leads the NFL. And I think the biggest thing with that is it incorporates Zay Flowers within this offense. Yes, he gets his catch and run opportunities, but when they go play action and he's getting the ball over the middle of the field and he's able to pick up yards after the catch, to me, for a defense, especially like Miami, that you're missing so many secondary pieces, go right at them because they're going to be, first and foremost, you're going to have to stop the run.
All right, so we've called out a few guys on this Ravens offense. A lot of people are going to be watching out for Lamar. You're, Peter, though, paying attention to somebody else on that Ravens offense. Who would that be?
Yeah, last week in the fourth quarter when they put the game away, obviously Derrick Henry got the bulk of the carries. And on the final drive, another running back, Keaton Mitchell, got involved. Number 34, you might not be familiar with his name. His dad, Anthony Mitchell, played for those Ravens teams in the early 2000s. And they put the game away with a second back. It was Keaton Mitchell's time. He had 4 big carries on this final drive. He had an 8-yard carry that was negated by penalty. And I have spoken to sources in Baltimore. They've been trying to find a way to get him involved. He missed all of last year, his rookie season, with the ACL injury. This year, he is supposed to be a weapon that they can use. So as we get Likely and Ricard and, of course, Lamar back, Keep an eye on number 34, Keaton Mitchell, to be used in some schemes and some different plays tonight. They're trying to get him involved in the offense more.
Such a dangerous offense, such a dangerous team because the talent, and there's also the reality that there is urgency.
Yeah.
They are backed into a corner. They do know that it's playoffs or bust or kind of win or go home mindset. I go back to meeting with them when we were calling their game last year in relation to Keaton Mitchell, and they were adamant that he was so important to their team because he brought a different level of speed that no one really else has outside of Zay Flowers. So I agree with Peter, just seeing how they use him. But, man, what a dangerous offense.
Kickoff return, too.
I mean, it's interesting. As we talk about this, we're naming all these different guys that could have a major impact. They are loaded, especially now they're getting healthier. Speaking of health, there's a lot of quarterback injuries that we're monitoring this week. Let's bring Adam Schefter in here with more. Let's begin, Adam, with Jaden Daniels and his status. What do we know?
Laura, full practice this week so far, and so Jaden Daniels is tracking to play Sunday night against Seattle, even though he will be without his wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, who aggravated his quad injury and already has been ruled out. But there is hope that Jaden Daniels now will be back after practicing in full on Wednesday. Missed the one game due to the hamstring injury, but what they've seen so far this week has been encouraging. Meanwhile, the wait goes on for the 49ers quarterback, Brock Purdy, who continues to be limited at practice due to that turf toe injury that he suffered earlier this season. He did a little bit more work at practice yesterday than he did last week, but don't know that it's enough to get him back this week. We'll see what the 49ers decide to do at quarterback, and obviously, if he can't go, Mac Jones would start. Meanwhile, in Cincinnati, Joe Flacco returned to practice today after missing practice Wednesday due to a sprained AC joint in his shoulder. If he can't play on Sunday against the Bears, Jake Browning would step back in for the Bengals. But the fact that Flacco was back at all today at practice is an encouraging sign. And two other quarterback notes: Bryce Young, full practice today, tracking to play. J.J. McCarthy, full practice today. He's tracking to play.
Yeah, we'll talk about J.J. McCarthy a little bit later on in the show, but let's turn our attention now to the best offense in the NFL, the team with the best record, certainly. That would be the Colts, okay? Indy leads the NFL in points, yards, you name it. They lead it, as you can see there. Not currently an area of strength for the Steel Curtain. Of course, that's their opponent. That points per drive, by the way, has not been seen by any team since the 07 Patriots. I mean, that's just how historic this is at this point. Peter.
Yeah,
I know, it's crazy.
They're so good.
They're so good. Peter, how do you expect that Colts offense to continue to roll this week?
They're punishing too. You know, we could talk about Alec Pearson, what he does in the deep game, and we could talk about some of the stuff they do through the air with Daniel Jones, but it really starts up front. And I got a text from an NFL source who said, Quentin Nelson should just wear a gold jacket out there when he plays. This is how well he's playing this season. And he's like, you're going to be on ESPN talking Colts. Why am I not hearing Quentin Nelson being praised? Like, because he's an offensive guard. All right, we don't do a lot of offensive guard talks. But if we're talking about the Colts number one across the board and Jonathan Taylor having this breakout season, we have to give love to a former top 10 pick at the offensive guard position. Quentin Nelson got engaged over the offseason. Quentin Nelson is now not one of the young guys in the league we always talk about. He's one of the veteran ones, but he sets the tone. He is the captain. He has become the vocal leader in that locker room. And if you watch Quentin Nelson at the line of scrimmage, you get a feel for what this Colts team really is all about. It's not razzle dazzle. It's not so much sizzle. It's we're going to beat you up at the line of scrimmage. And maybe that's what's going to make them relevant come cold weather games in December, January, and who knows, maybe February.
Yeah, his health is a big deal as well. I don't think he's been healthy as much over the past couple of seasons. I think that Peter's talking about the physical presence of their offensive line. I would argue that this is probably the best RPO offense in the NFL right now. It looks so much like the 22 Eagles. Just pay attention to all the different parts of this. So left hash formation into the boundary, Pittman, Jr., Tyler Warren, and then the back, Jonathan Taylor up top. Okay, here comes the motion from the bottom of the screen, and then ball gets snapped, okay? So now it's a four-man surface. There's that offensive line just running double teams, okay? But at the same time, Daniel Jones is reading the defense. If that defensive end squeezes, now it becomes the pass RPO option of that, and it's a high-low read of that hook defender. That hook defender, what does he do? With that linebacker having vision on Daniel Jones. If that hook defender stays inside, we're going to kick the ball to the flat, okay? That's an easy. If he goes to the flat, well, Pittman's just going to essentially replace him when it comes to the depth of that defense. So they're running 3 plays in one there. This is one of my favorites of the season. 2-by-2 formation into the boundary at the bottom. There goes Warren in motion. Ball gets snapped right now. Okay, here's this double team to a backer in space. He's reading the backside backer, the quarterback, Daniel Jones. If that backside backer stays outside, we can either hand the ball off or then we can throw the bubble up top. There's two options. Or if he goes inside, now with that outside leverage because the cut split, there's Michael Pittman Jr. again replacing it. And the big thing for me on those is Pittman's brain makes this so easy. Those are 3 or 4 plays all getting called at once. It's the most, I feel like, diverse RPO game in the NFL right now.
Wow. Talking to Daniel Jones last week, we asked him about that, the RPO game, and he did it with the New York Giants. Was it that with the Giants that helped him do it now? He was just like, he felt like he had to go through that to get to where he is now. He said the way the Indianapolis Colts do their RPO, he feels like it's above every other team. To your point, when you're showing that, for me as a defender, and you're like, all right, he sees a linebacker go here. He can hand it off, he can throw the bubble, or he can throw this. It makes this offense so complicated and diverse to be able to match up against. So when I look at it from a defensive standpoint, what are the things you got to do? You see Chernad right there. You have to build a wall and attack the line of scrimmage. Second, you got to get pressure on Daniel Jones. And I know he's performed well under pressure and against the blitz, but if he's just back there and he can read the defense, he'll carve you up. Buda Baker did a great job against the Indianapolis Colts of just standing still. So much we think on defense that you have to disguise and run around the field, show something this way, rotate this way. There was so many times before the snap, him and Jalen Thompson, they were just standing there, just like this, as safeties, not moving. And I think for Daniel Jones, he's gotten so good at recognizing what the defense is, and boom, right now he knows where to go.
It's clean for him.
Yes.
It's like one guy is the person who tells him what to do with the football. So while there's all those different options, it's such a clean process of information because it's one person.
He looks authoritative, which is something that we hadn't seen before. By the way, the Steelers have tackled ball carriers at or behind the line only 11% of the time this season. 3rd lowest rate in the NFL. Not great. But you know what's great? We're just getting started on NFL Live. We got a lot more coming your way. The Vikings welcome back J.J. McCarthy. I told you we'd talk about him. It's straight into the fire. Troy Aikman joining the show. The Hall of Famer will talk about after seeing that Lions defense, explaining what may have to happen. Plus,